teams from 6 local high schools: Jordan, St. Anthony, Wilson, Lakewood, Milliken, and Paul. St. Anthony made it through. I jumped over the moon. How'd I do?
Prizes and an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. Now, here's your host, Dan Reddington.
Hello! Welcome once again to the Challenge Bowl. We're here. It's week number 9. It's the last game of the elimination round. Just a recap for those of you who haven't been watching the Challenge Bowl. We started off 9 weeks ago with teams from 6 local high schools: Jordan, St. Anthony, Wilson, Lakewood, Milliken, and Pauley. St. Anthony made it through the winners round undefeated. I know you guys. This is good. Yes. Oh, do I got?
Oh, hi.
I don't like the public to see this.
Like, bend over.
I can hear it.
Oh, goody.
Oh, was I?
Okay.
Huh?
Something. Okay. I got it now.
This stuff isn't as good as the other stuff.
It's not. It's just real light.
Yeah.
And this is what Super
Okay.
Bowl.
Oh my God, just a move.
I can't hear myself anymore.
Oh.
Okay.
Don't show me.
I was waving to him.
That's the last time we'll be
Okay.
sticking out. It should hold if you do
What?
that.
Yeah. Am I on?
Let me get my teeth thing.
Look at the window.
Actually, it would have been better to be a little bit longer.
Michael, what's your
Hi.
last name, please?
Hello.
What's your last name? Simon.
Correct.
Al.
Hi, Dan.
Okay, I just need the first name. Just the team
Right on
captain. I need the full name. He'll tell me the rest.
What? Just look over here and go like that. That's all you do?
I'm tired.
Oh, okay.
I'm going down.
Hi, Dan.
Are you really?
Not me.
Hi, Dan.
Well, these are all sterilized after each
I
game. They're
usually don't
soaked
speak
in
soft, so.
hot butter.
Were they on the side?
Yeah. Really, you guys were. You guys should have been next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Winning, that's what it was.
Yeah. Smiling, laughing, enthusiastic,
Okay.
having a good time.
Alex, look, there you are.
He doesn't bug me.
Wait. Oh.
Don't bug me. Michael wouldn't bug me.
Enthusiasm.
Wilson, Lakewood, Milliken.
Is that low? Seems low. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, man.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate every effort you can make on my behalf. I really do.
No.
No, remember, clap. Clap, enthusiasm, smile, everything. All this talking to your mic.
Smiling, laughing, having a heck of a time
If you feel the
here on the Challenge Bowl.
Oh, that's okay.
Pick on Dan week here at the Challenge Bowl.
Okay.
Welcome to Pick on Dan Week here at the Challenge Bowl.
Okay.
John, will we have a reset, please? Thank you so much.
All right.
Everybody got that?
Look, Alex, there you are.
Wave.
A citizen. Resident for of the state.
Oh, for the.
Dan.
You have to be
What a
Good boy.
One show you can hear you saying, "Oh, you are losing it."
Yeah.
The show where I said some really silly pun on one of the questions, and Michael goes, "No, you have lost it. You've lost it, man." I know you were. I mean, even if you weren't, it was funny.
You already lost before you even got here.
I know. It's been lost a long time.
Us teams from 6 local high schools compete for prizes and an all-expenses-paid trip to Washington, D.C. Now, here's your host, Dan Reddington.
Hello, and welcome once again to the Challenge Bowl. It's week number 9. We're in the final game of the elimination round. Now, a recap for those of you who haven't been watching the Challenge Bowl. What have you been doing every night at 7:30? We've been having a good time. We started off with teams from 6 local high schools: Jordan, St. Anthony, Wilson, Lakewood, Milliken, and Pauley. St. Anthony won the winners round, went through undefeated, and they've been waiting patiently to see who will come out of this elimination round to face them in the championship game for the trip to Washington, D.C. Now, we're going to decide that real soon because we have the 2 teams remaining with 1 loss each in the elimination round here with us tonight. Jordan and Pauley, let's give them a big hand for surviving this far. And let's meet them. On my right, back from Jordan High School, team captain Wen Pham. Welcome once again.
Hi, Dan.
Please introduce me to your teammates, although their faces are familiar.
Yes, to my right is Stella Cortez, and to her right is Woody Lee.
Stella and Woody, welcome back, and good luck to Jordan. On my left, back now, team captain Michael Simon and his Pauley teammates. Welcome once again.
Thank you, Dan. To my left is Shelly Smith, and to the far left is Alex Charon.
Shelly and Alex, welcome back again. Here we go. Here's how we play the game. I'll read the questions. As soon as you have an answer, you hit your buzzer. I'll stop reading the question. You give your answer. If your answer is correct, you'll hear this sound, and your team scores the points. If your answer is incorrect, you will hear this sound, and your team won't get any points. I'll then finish reading the question for the other team. They'll have a chance to buzz in and answer the question and get the points. We play 4 rounds. In rounds 1 and 2, correct answers are worth 5 points. Rounds 3 and 4, correct answers are worth 10 points. As always, the questions deal with the United States Constitution and the history of the city of Long Beach, celebrating its 100th year as a city. Are we ready to play?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yep. Let's do it then. Okay. Enthusiasm abounds here on the Challenge Bowl. Round 1, questions worth 5 points. The importance of an historical understanding of our Constitution leads us to consider the foundations of our system of government. Question number 1. With the ratification of the Constitution, the new Congress was to convene on March 4th, 1789, in the nation's temporary capital. Michael.
Philadelphia.
Sorry, no. Where was the first Congress to meet? When?
New York.
New York City, in Federal Hall on Wall Street. And it's 5-0. Question 2. Under the principle of separation of powers, the Constitution distributes power. When?
Executive, legislative, and judicial.
I'm sorry, that's not what we were looking for. The Constitution distributes powers of government. Which body, then, is the law-making branch? Shelley.
The legislative?
Congress, the legislative branch. Correct. Tie score. The framers of the Constitution recognized the need to build a strong national government and at the same time preserve the existing states. What is this basic... When?
Federalism.
What is this basic principle called? Federalism or a federal system of government? This question has 2 answers. The Constitution of today is not the document of 1787.
The Articles of Confederation?
No, I'm sorry. In what 2 basic ways has the process of change, modification, and growth come about? When?
Amendments and new laws.
Okay, well, you're on the right track. It was formal amendments and informal amendments. Okay, and our score remains 10-5, Jordan with a slim lead this early in the game. This question has 3 answers. Informal amendments are changes in the application and interpretation of the Constitution without changes in the wording. The process of informal amendment has taken place in 5 separate ways. Name 3 of them. Michael.
A law by Congress, a proposal by the President, and a law by the states.
No, I'm sorry. Someone on Jordan want to take a chance on this?
Question, please?
I won't repeat the question. I'm sorry. We'll read the question once all the way through and then take your guess as the clock ticks. Sorry, okay. You were close there, Michael. Legislation by Congress you got, actions of the President you got. Then one of the other 3 we would have taken were decisions of the Supreme Court, activities of political parties, and custom. Still 10-5. Basic to our federal system of government is a division of powers between the national... When?
Federalism.
Is a division of powers between the national government and the states. What name is given those powers held only by the states which are not given to the national government? Someone on Pauley, take a shot. Time's up on that one. What a surprise. Reserved powers, they're called. And it's time for some Long Beach questions. Oh, and a sigh of relief burst through the contestants. Although we are celebrating the Centennial, the first 100 years of Long Beach history, there were people and places that were to play an important role well before the city came into being. Here's question number 1. The Indians of the Long Beach area were hunters and gatherers. Michael.
The Shoshone tribe?
They were, but that's not the question we're looking for. It is reported that they ate nearly everything, with one exception, downtown. Now, what was that exception in their diet?
The bear.
Stella. Yes, the bear, which they thought, very good, which they thought might be human because it walked upright, unlike many of my closest friends. This question has 2 answers. Following his death in the early 1800s, the land granted to Jose Manuel Nieto was inherited by his children and partitioned into ranchos. Name the new owners of Ranchos Los Alamitos and Rancho Los Cerritos. Stella.
Juan Jose Nieto owned Los Alamitos, and Manuela Nieto Cota owned Cerritos.
Very good. Very good. 20-5. In the early 1880s, William Wilmore suggested to Jotham Bixby that he release the coastline portion of his rancho, Los Cerritos, for subdivision and colonization. What name was... Michael.
Wilmore City?
No, I'm sorry. What name was... But good guess. What name was given to the 10,000 acres to be subdivided into farms? Yes, Stella.
American Colony?
The American Colony.
All right.
Yes. All right, that's the end of round 1. Our score is Jordan 25, Pauly 5. I was saying good guess there, Michael, because for the first couple weeks, every answer was Wilmore or Bixby, and I thought you were taking a stab there. Round 2, correct answers still worth 5 points. We are a nation of individual and collective freedoms established by the Constitution and affirmed by governmental action. Question 1 of round 2. The Founding Fathers expressed love of liberty in a document declaring that all men are created equal when?
Declaration of Independence.
No, I'm sorry, that's not what we were looking for. Declaring that all men are created equal and are endowed with certain inalienable rights. Name the inalienable rights. Shelley.
Life, liberty, and property.
Ooh, I'm sorry. It was life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
I knew it was one of them.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, as they say. The Constitution, with its amendments, provides guarantees of personal freedom. How do these civil rights guarantees illustrate the principle of limited government? Shelley.
Their rights to the people that cannot be infringed on by the national government.
Yes, very good answer. Very good. That was almost like an essay question answer there, and you handled that very well. 25-10. This question has 2 answers. The Constitution provides to each of us the right to have our say. That is, a right of free expression and the right to hear what others have to say. In which 2 amendments? Michael.
The First Amendment and...
In which 2 amendments are these protections found as applied against national and state governments? Stella.
5th and 14th Amendments?
No, I'm sorry. He was half right and you were half right. It's the 1st and 14th. Can they each get 2.5, judges? No? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. This question has 2 answers. Some forms of expression are not protected by the Constitution. For example, a person may not libel or slander another with words intent upon injuring a person's character or reputation. What is the distinction between libel and slander? Michael.
Libel is a lie that is written. Slander is a lie that is spoken.
Very good.
All right.
25-15. There are 2 distinct elements of the exercise of due process. What name is given the element which specifies that the laws under which government acts must be fair? Woody.
Procedural due process.
No, I'm sorry. Someone on Pauly. Time's up on that one. It was substantive due process. We're on the right track. The Constitution forbids unreasonable searches and seizures.
4th Amendment.
Yeah, exactly right. While providing that police officers have no general right to search for evidence or to seize either evidence or persons. Which amendment? The 4th Amendment. 30-15. There are many constitutional guarantees which relate to a fair trial. Which amendment says that no person can be compelled in any... Michael.
The 5th Amendment?
Compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself. The 5th Amendment. Which amendment specifies that the bail or fine in a case...
The 8th Amendment.
Yes, Woody. Contest must bear reasonable relationship to the seriousness of the crime involved. There is only one crime against the United...
Treason.
Yes, against the United States defined in the Constitution. What is this wartime crime? That rhymes. It's time for some Long Beach questions. From the earliest days, transportation was to play an important role in the progress of the city. Question 1 worth 5 points. By 1883, a horse-drawn railroad car of the American Colony Railroad carried passengers from the western terminus of the Southern Pacific Railroad. By what name was the American Colony Railroad better... Michael?
The Salt Lake Railroad?
No, I'm sorry. By what name was the American Colony Railroad better known? Someone on Jordan. Woody? No, it wasn't. It was called the GOP Railroad, or the Get Out and Push Railroad. Oh, yes, Dan, we knew that. This next question is a visual question, and it has 2 answers. Watch your monitors. By 1928, traffic in downtown Long Beach had become a problem. A subway was built. Shelley?
It was under ocean, and it was to protect the people from the cars on the street, the traffic on the street.
Very good. A subway, is that correct? Yes. A subway was built with the support of the city, and A.T. Jurgens described the location and the purpose of the subway. Another visual question. On July 4th, 1902,
The
Michael?
red car, Huntington's red car.
I'm sorry, no. The first electrically powered trains pulled into the Long Beach station. Thousands were to ride the train over the ensuing years. What was the formal name of the rail line? Stella?
Pacific Electric Railway.
The Pacific Electric Company or Pacific Electric Railway. That's the end of round 2, and our score is Jordan 45, Polly 25. When we come back, correct answers will be worth 10 points. We're going to take a little break. Don't go away. We're back here at the Challenge Bowl. The score is Jordan 45, Polly 25. Correct answers will be worth 10 points apiece, so plenty of time to rack up some large scores here. But before we go on, I want to tell you about the prizes that our teams will be winning. Our runner-up team will be going to Sacramento, California, courtesy of American Airlines and the Hyatt Hotels. And our grand prize winner will be going to Washington, D.C., all expenses paid, courtesy of TWA and the Marriott Hotels. Good prizes, huh?
Yeah.
We have a new player on the Poly team, team captain Michael Simon. Please introduce us.
To the far left is Shiloah Driscoll.
Hello, Shiloah. Welcome. We've seen her before.
Yeah.
We welcome her back, and here we go. Second half here in the final game of the elimination round. All correct answers are now worth 10 points. This is an introduction. Ours is a system of government by the people. This series of questions will deal with the politics of American democracy. Question number 1 has 2 answers. The most recent presidential election was held in November 1984. Who were the presidential... Michael.
The candidates were Reagan and Mondale, and Reagan won.
No, okay, I'm sorry, that's not what we were looking for. Who were the presidential and vice presidential candidates for the major parties? When?
For the Republicans, Reagan and Bush, and for the Democrats, Mondale and Ferraro.
That's correct. That's correct. The Constitution gives to Congress the power to regulate various aspects of congressional and presidential elections, including the day, month, and year of such elections. When is the next presidential election?
The second Tuesday in November of this year.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Someone on Jordan, when is the next presidential election to be held? November 8th, 1988. The Congress does not give the federal government the power to set suffrage qualifications. Rather, that matter is... Michael.
Reserved to the states.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matters to which political entity? 55-35. This question has 2 answers. The Constitution left the power to set suffrage qualifications to the states. Today, each of the states require all voters to meet qualifications based on... When?
Must be 18 and registered.
No, I'm sorry. Today, each of the states require all voters to meet qualifications based on 2 factors other than age. What are they? Shelley.
You must be a citizen and you must register.
No, I'm sorry. You must be a citizen and you must live in the state for at least a year. Okay, there's residence as well. In 1972, the Supreme Court established the acceptable period of residence as a requirement to vote in a presidential election. How many days is the accepted standard today? Shelley?
365?
No, I'm sorry. Someone over here. On Jordan. It's 30 days. Half November. In most states, nearly all elective school and municipal offices are filled in elections in which candidates are not identified by party label. What are these elections called? Woody?
Primary election?
No, I'm sorry.
Non-partisan elections?
That's right, nonpartisan elections. 55-45. The use of voting machines in the election process dates back to 1892. Who held the first American patent for a voting machine? Oh, time's up on that one. It was Thomas Edison. Oh, yeah. Some local elections are now conducted by mail with mail-in ballots. In which state were vote by mail? Michael.
California.
In which state were vote by mail elections initiated? California. We have a tie score as we move on to some Long Beach questions here in the third round. Since even before the time of incorporation, Long Beach set out to become a beachfront resort considered by many to be the finest in the state. This first question has two answers, and it's a visual question. By 1904, the original Pine Avenue Pier had been damaged by the tides and storm-driven waves. It was to be rebuilt as a first of its kind. What features made it unique for its time? Michael.
It was a double-deck pier, and
Okay. Someone on Jordan. Okay, these are tough. You were on the right track there, Michael. It was a double-decker pier, and it used cement pilings. Still a tie score.
tip of my tongue.
Right there. It was right here. Cement pilings on your tongue. Those kill you, don't they? I hate those. In 1911, Charles Loof located a merry-go-round of hand-carved horse. Yes.
The Hippodrome.
Yes. By what name was the building known that housed the merry-go-round? The Hippodrome. 65-55. Paulie has moved out in front. This next question is a visual. In early 1938, the largest one-piece mural in the world was Shelley.
It's now located in Long Beach Mall.
I'm sorry. In the world, where was it located at that time? Jordan. Was he in time? No, I'm sorry. He was not in time. Above the entrance to the municipal auditorium. Oh, yes. That's the end of round 3. We have a score of Paulie 65, Jordan 55. Close game. Got some tough questions here. Before we move on to round 4, let me show you how the elimination round has progressed to this point. We started Jordan versus Lakewood. Jordan won. Milliken versus Wilson. Wilson won. Jordan, then they played each other. Jordan won. Tonight's game, Jordan versus Paulie. The winner of tonight's game will go on next week to play St. Anthony in the championship game. That's next week's game. Tonight's winner versus St. Anthony in the championship game. Remember, you can see all these games, as always, at 7:30 p.m. in Long Beach on Channel 32 and in Lakewood on Channel 34. This is a very decisive round here. The winner of this round now will go on to face St. Anthony in the championship game for the trip to Washington. 10 points each. Let's go. Quiet, Dan. All right. Our next series of questions deals with the executive branch of government. The first question has 2 answers. While the Constitution establishes the minimum age qualifications for the presidency, it does not set a maximum age. Who are the youngest and oldest? Michael.
John F. Kennedy is the youngest, and Ronald Reagan is the oldest.
Absolutely right. Neither political party has seriously considered a woman as its candidate for the presidency.
Geraldine Ferraro.
In 1984, the Democrats nominated a woman for the vice presidency, Geraldine Ferraro. 75-65. The executive branch of government includes many groups advisory to the president. Most of the president's major decisions... When?
The National Security Council.
No, I'm sorry. Most of the president's major decisions related to domestic affairs are made in consultation with the OPD. What is the name of this group? Michael.
The Office of Public Development.
No, I'm sorry. It's the Office of Policy Development. Good try. The Constitution and acts of Congress have given the president the power to issue directives, rules, and regulations which have the effect of law. What are such
Executive orders.
Shiloah says executive orders, and she's correct. 85 to 65. The Constitution provides judicial powers of clemency to the president, which may be used only in cases involving federal offenses. What term describes a general pardon offered to a group of when?
Amnesty.
Amnesty. 85-75. This question has 3 answers. Listen carefully. The Constitution establishes the presidency but does not establish the federal bureaucracy. Many federal agencies are very often referred to by their initials. Given the initials provide the full title. IRS, FDIC, FBI. When?
IRS, Internal Revenue Service, FDIC, Federal Deposits Insurance Corporation, and what was the third one?
FBI.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Correct. Very tough question, and we have a tie score. 85-85. Prior to World War II, our foreign policy was marked by a purposeful refusal to become generally involved in when?
Isolationism.
What name is given this early policy concerning our relationship with the country? Isolationism. 95-85. Jordan back out in front. This question has 4 answers. Get your typewriters ready. The federal government is big business requiring billions of dollars. The Constitution and Congress have established various taxes to generate income. There are 6 such tax categories. Name 4 of them. Shelley.
Sales tax, state tax, federal tax, and land tax.
No, I'm sorry. Someone on Jordan. When?
State tax, federal tax, excise tax, and tariffs.
No, I'm sorry. 4 of the 6 we would have taken. Income tax, payroll taxes, excise tax, estate tax, gift taxes, customs duties. That was a toughie. 95-85. The president and his chief advisors must have vast amounts of accurate and timely information upon which to base foreign policy and national... Michael.
The National Security Council.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what we were looking for. Upon which to base foreign policy and national security decisions. The CIA fills that need. What do the initials CIA stand for? When?
The Central Intelligence Agency.
The Central Intelligence Agency. And it's time for Long Beach questions. This last series of questions will cover a number of general topics concerning Long Beach. The first one is a visual question. When this clock stopped suddenly... Yes, Shelley.
The earthquake of 1933.
I'm sorry, that's not what we were looking for. When this clock stopped suddenly at approximately 5:54 p.m., the Long Beach earthquake had occurred. On what date? Woody.
March 10th.
March 10th, 1933. Housing contractors Taper, Weingart, and Bayer were instrumental in the development of some 7,000 houses in a nearby area which incorporated in 1954 with a population of 70,000. By what name has the community become known? Michael.
Naples.
No, I'm sorry. Someone on Jordan? Time's up. It was Lakewood. This next question's a visual question. The beachfront skyline has been dominated by this building since 1920. Shelley.
The Villa Riviera.
That's right. Name of that building. That's the end of the game. Our score, please, on the monitors. Jordan 115, Polly 95. That was an incredible game, and really, these 2 teams fought their way here to the final game of the elimination round, and we had quite a battle between them. They deserve a big round of applause. Michael, Shelley, Shiloah, very sorry. You gave them a real good fight. We hate to see you go, but you played real well, and I hope we see you sometime again soon. Real nice knowing you.
We get
Good
the year's
luck.
supply of Life-Ceroni.
You do get the year supply, the San Francisco treat. All right. Moving on over here to our winners tonight's game. They'll be facing St. Anthony. Watch out. They've been doing real well. Our team from Jordan, Wen, Stella, and Woody. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. A real good game. So we'll be seeing you next week. Next week's game is the championship game. If that game is won by Jordan, we'll have another game. If St. Anthony wins, they're the champions because they will have lost never. So that's the way it goes. We want to just thank you all for watching once again. We've had a real good time. Thanks to all the high schools, everyone here at Long Beach City College. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Wow. Tough game.